The month of May is also kind of a special month for me because 3 years ago exactly, well, more so April, but I have documentation of May, is when I really started this personal growth and self-development journey. And it is quite fascinating to see all the things that you learn over time, right? When you compare yourself to who you were 6 months ago, right? Now think about comparing yourself to who you were a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like, it's crazy, right? The amount of things that you've learned, the ways that you've bettered yourself in multiple ways. And one of the things that has really stood out to me is I'm happy. I'm happy with how this has gone. Now, I don't know how long you've been listening to my podcast for, or just following me on Instagram, YouTube, and all this good stuff. But I remember the biggest thing that I wanted to avoid. I said, Daniel, when you do a podcast, when you do YouTube videos, if I do an online course in the future, whatever, the one thing that I hate, that I never wanted to turn into, was be that sleazy guy who's going to show you how to be a millionaire, even though I'm not a millionaire, and I'm gonna sell you this course that's $1,000, that when you take it, you could have just found all the information for free on YouTube anyways. Like, that was the thing I hated, right? Because it's like, dude, you're 20, you're taking advantage of people, you're just going for their pockets. Why would anyone listen to you? So I've really tried to make sure to be on this path of, hey, you know, everything out there, you know, I'm trying to give as much value as possible, right? And my mindset was, well, you know, all this is free, right? The podcast, YouTube, all that good stuff. I want to give it to you. And if it benefits you, fantastic. If not, I'm sure you click off the video, you click off the podcast, and that is 100%, that's wonderful. I don't want you listening to something that, frankly, you're not interested in and don't think is going to provide you any value. But for the people who does provide you value, that's when I sleep good at night, right? That's when I put my head on the pillow and I feel really good. Because if there's one other person in the world who has the same thought as I do, or is in a sticky situation, whether it's a philosophical discussion or psychology, or they were in a certain scenario, and they hear my story and it impacts them, it's like a job well done, 2 thumbs up, and I feel freaking fantastic. With that said, you know, that doesn't mean I'm you know, looking down on anyone who makes an online course or who makes a program and charges you money for it. Man, that's fantastic. My big thing is, I hope to anyone watching this or hearing this over the podcast on either Apple iTunes or Spotify or all the other good stuff, is I hope that you're getting your money's worth, right? So if you pay, let's say $50 for an online course, I would hope that you're getting not only enough to match the $50, but more. You're getting so much value that you're like, holy smokes, that could have easily been $100, $200. Like, that was awesome. That was a steal for 50, right? Rather than giving 50 and being like, actually, most of that content, that was just like common sense. You know what I mean? So I think even though I've really been thinking about, well, Daniel, you know, be cautious, give them value, don't pretend to be anything that you're not. You're not a millionaire, you're not a psychologist, you're not a life guru, but what you are is a passionate student with a vision, right? Wanting to have a life filled with fulfillment and really meaning. And the best way that I can do that is not just by telling you how to live one, but by showing you. Let me lead you by example, right? Let me follow my dream. Let me do podcasting, which one of my career goals, it really was, swear to God, was to have a podcast. So 1 down, 2 to go. And maybe I'll let you know about those 2 later on in the future. But I really think, my friends, whenever you're looking at, self-development stuff, psychology stuff, just, and obviously, you know, just keep your eyes out. There's so much stuff for free on there on YouTube. There's so much stuff for free on the internet, on websites and stuff. Sometimes you might not need to buy a course or whatever, or even before you do, just make sure you do your research. My recommendation is talk to 1 or 2 people who've already taken the course, who've already, you know, done X, Y, and Z, who've already read the book, and they can give you some really good value. For these last 3 years, I can tell you, man, I have the only payment for you know, if we're talking about motivation, psychology, whatever, is university tuition. You know, and textbooks, everything that goes along with that, the lectures, and paying for books, right? My own self-development books with regards to, you know, how to win friends and influence people, the 15 invaluable laws of growth, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all that good stuff. And, you know, what I find, and I hope that you get this too, is when you read a book like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like the 15 invaluable laws of growth, like Principles by Ray Dalio, you get so much value that I always tell my friends and my family members, I'm like, guys, this might be $20, this book, or $30, but the value is so much that you would think that, like, I just bought a course about this subject. Because imagine that, you're reading 200 to 300 pages of just constant knowledge. That's like if you saw, I don't know, man, 15 to 20 YouTube videos on different topics. So the point I was gonna make is, listen, even if you don't want to throw out 30 or 40 bucks for a book, you know, check out YouTube videos. Check out 10 to 15 to 20 YouTube videos on a specific subject, whether it be depression, whether it be anxiety, whether it be how to become successful, whether it be the art of patience, whatever it must be, because there's so much knowledge out there now, you know, and it's all free for you to get.